Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. You have noticed already for the past few days, starting Monday, right after my little baby vacation from China, we started this discussion on a day-to-day basis, all the same subject, the same issue, on and on. This is the fourth day we're talking about it. It's about the SCA5, State Constitution Amendment Bill number 5. What a lovely number. Anyway, we're talking about it. We're talking about the inside of the bill, the outside of the bill, and what's behind the bill. From the inside, outside, and behind, we'll find lots of negative spots. So, joining me today are my good friends coming from afar. Thousand Oaks?
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks?
That's right.
Yeah. And you're from local, right?
Right.
You're from local,
yeah.
and you're from?
Close to Thousand Oaks.
Oh, close to Thousand Oaks. 900 Oaks.
Almost, yes, 100 oaks like that.
To get to here, to Los Angeles, to West Covina, takes about 1 hour and a half. And right now it's 9 o'clock something. And you just assume how early they started this morning. For what? For this important issue. That indicates how everybody is so concerned about the bill. So we can put everything around us away a little bit to focus on this issue. First of all, I would like to give each of you a little moment to introduce yourself. All right. How about starting from you?
Okay. My name's Jie. I work in Bank of America, and then basically, this all my coworkers, and then here we're the husband of Bank of America employees. So I'm a VP of Bank of America, and I'm very happy to have the chance to come here, join
Me
Brother
too.
Zhao.
All right, call you Brother Zhao. Good,
Right.
good. All right, good.
Yeah, to talk about this issue.
And you were from a local, right?
Right.
Local office of Arcadia?
Yeah,
Arcadia,
yeah.
okay. Of a B of A.
Right.
Okay. And you're from B of A too, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes, I'm-
Where are you, sir, please?
I work in this Los Angeles headquarters in Calabasas.
I see.
And also in Bank of America. And I'm now my work primarily is about risk management.
You're Ling Mei.
Yes, my name's Lin Mei.
And your position?
Yeah, I'm a SVP in Bank of America as a risk management. So although my role is more like a more objective and less passionate about things, to something like more conservative. But
see.
this time, really, this bill leaves us no room to stay calm.
All right, very good, very good. How about Mr. Gu, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ling Yun Gu, and I'm the co-founder and the chief risk officer of Turbo Financial Group. And we pretty much focus on big data to evaluate individual and small business credit and
see.
try to give additional help for those people who are struggling. But
right.
for SCA5, and it's totally different topic, has nothing to do in financial, but to me, it's a very important opportunity to stand out, not only just as a Chinese, also as a member of Asian Americas, and also as a citizen of the United States. And this is not only just a short-term things, and that is a long-term goal. Everyone should stand up and against for it.
All right, very good. And I also know the fact that we included you into this group is because that you married one of the B of A girls, right?
Yes, that is
Oh,
correct.
lucky you.
Thank you.
Lucky you. I tried my way, but never got that lucky. And how about you, Mr. Ding?
Yeah, my name is Kevin Dean. I also work for Bank of America. Currently, my title is the VP of Consumer Product Strategy. And more importantly, I'm a proud father of 3 lovely children. Yeah, sometimes they drive me crazy, but I still love them dearly.
All right,
And
that's for what
like all
family
the
is
parents,
about. Yes.
exactly. Like all the parents, I care deeply about their education,
I see.
care about their future. I think that's why we're all here today.
All right. You don't have to marry a Bank of America girl to be here, right?
Actually, he does.
My wife's
Yeah.
also a Bank of America employee.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Everybody is so lucky, right?
Yeah.
To marry a banker, all right? So, I'm open, by the way. So somebody of you, if you happen to be working with Bank of America, I'm available. All right, now. So we need to relax because for the past 3 days I've been so tied up on this issue,
Right.
and I even I have to do some homework late night last night. Okay, now to get to the issue though, on my position, this job, I've been encountered with it many times about different issues. Many of the issues have yes and no's, strong yes and strong no's, or strong no's and strong yes. Well, all the way, it is a fact. And it's almost the first time for me to see something that gets such a strong kickback, such a strong response from different groups. Take the Jimmy Kimmel issue, right?
Well, we also
the
remember
response was strong, but not this much, right? So, can everybody of you give me a overall picture that about in your mind what this bill is? You said something about it. Let me start it with you, please.
Okay, no problem. I think for SCA5, the first keyword that jump into my eyes is color scheme. And that one make no sense to me, and I even today
Color and skin.
Color and skin.
And by the way, day before I saw an advertising saying that S for skin, C for color.
That's right.
Yeah, SCA bill, A for act.
Right.
The Skin Color Act.
Yes.
Right. And to me, it makes no sense at all. And I have been receiving so many years of education from elementary school and all the way to my PhD program.
I see.
And I have to use my scientific way and to determine whether something makes sense to me or not. So first thing I want to think about is no matter it's correct or not, whether it is fair or not. And definitely, this is going to hurt the fairness of education opportunity.
The fairness.
The fairness. So I even do not want to think about further about the second step. But let me take one step back and think about the second step. If we really have SCA5, is that easy, difficult to implement it? To me, there is no correct way. There is no possible way to implement it. So again, the second step makes no sense. And the third step, if we think about it, let me take 2 steps back. And now this time we implement it. Is there anyone who going to take the advantage and abuse the SCA5? I can give you so many examples. I can guarantee you, so many people are going to abuse it. So eventually, no matter you look at from the standpoint of fairness, or from the difficulty to implement it, or for the possibility for people to abuse it, nothing is making any single sense. So to me, I will stand up to say no to SCA5. And
Putting
not
all
only for me.
together, I get the impression that this whole nonsense bill, right?
Exactly, it's totally nonsense. And
Totally
to me,
nonsense,
we even
right?
shouldn't spend the time and waste a single minute to think about it, whether it's possible to let it go through. Unfortunately, still some people think that it is good for some certain ethnic group, which absolutely I do not
see.
agree. So I would say, unfortunately, we are spending time to discuss some nonsense bill, but we have to stand up, spend those valuable time to let people know this is making no sense.
I totally agree with you for that part being a nonsense bill, because I really keep wondering. I always keep wondering about California being a creative state, right? We're so creative. We're so creative to an extent that we can even create a bathroom bill.
That's right.
You heard about that?
Yes, exactly.
But
You can
I was never
identify.
prepared about seeing California this creative to create a SCA5. I was shocked.
I was
I was
shocked
shocked.
too.
I was shocked. I was so amazed. Oh my God, this is California? I don't know. Okay, how about you? You agree with him?
Well, I agree with him for sure. I mean, he basically mentioned a lot of things regarding the logistics of this issue, how to implement it or whatever, assuming it passes. But to me, it shouldn't be passed at all. That's the bottom line, because this is the most racist bill ever. And unfortunately, it has been brought up twice already. And then for whatever reason, they were vetoed before. And then this is third time Senator Hernandez brought up this bill. And then right now they're trying different ways to trying to push this through. And then this is pretty dangerous to all the Asians, not alone to Chinese specifically. We come from far away land, China, and then the value of the culture brought us here to pursue fairness, pursue equal education opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, education is essence and a core value of our culture.
Of course.
And then we pass it along to generations and generations. We're here, I mean, we want to bring a good environment for our kids, but this is right now endangered because of this bill. And then in the future, when they grow up, doesn't matter how much we devote into their education, doesn't matter how much effort they put into their own education, years of work will be bygone only because their skin color. They'll be limited.
Only because they're too good.
Right.
They're too good.
For once, they're punished
They're too good.
being study hard. And for once, they're punished not partying. For once, they're punished for not like taking drugs, right? Doing bad things. This is not, the value of America. This is not America dream. This is totally against it. Right. So, we don't, this is, it's not even.
If you call it a dream, we can call it a nightmare.
Right.
Exactly.
But it's a nightmare kind of a dream, right?
Exactly.
It's a nightmare kind of dream. To me, it's losing some kind of philosophical point.
Right.
By philosophy, you're talking about pushing your elite to be more successful, and dragging your left behind, going up and up and up. This one sounds to me that you cut off your end and put it this way.
That's right.
Am I right?
Yes.
All right, okay. So back to my audience today, there's one of the very special moment that I have 4 excellent guests at one time. That's why even though we sit so crowdedly, I still enjoy the atmosphere because I feel close, not only by body, but by concept to my guests that we do agree so far. I agree to 50% of my guests that this is a nonsense bill. How nonsense? It doesn't make any logistic point at all. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to you, those who happen to be, unfortunately, somebody's parents, to the show, to the discussion about the SCA bill, this nonsense bill, quote unquote, my guess. Now, let me move to my left side because in politics there is always right and left. Let's see if this is a left-right issue. If we do cut a line here, that probably be a part of the issue. I don't know. So let me move to Ling Mei, please.
First, I want to say I completely agree with what these two just said.
So there is no cut.
100%.
All right.
It's just that this bill makes really no sense. This bill, SCA5, is basically authorize all public universities in California to select students based on their race. So give certain race preferential treatment. And that, if you call it a equality, I don't know what kind of equality there is. The definition. What's the definition of equality? Because that's really give you discriminate one race, against another.
Sure.
And especially for Asian kids, like when I first heard of this, I was so furious that I said, this is basically destroyed generations' hope of Asian families. This is just for. Maybe I'm too. I cannot even.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah,
no problem. Yeah.
Like
My audience will understand. They are in the same frustration as we are, right? Never mind.
Right.
Go ahead.
I have a 4-year-old. He's almost 5. And I'm afraid that in the future he will ask me why I cannot get into those schools. And
because of the bill.
Exactly. The only thing I can tell him is that I'm sorry. Because
of the stupid bill,
You're Asian, you're Chinese, and you work too hard. That's the reward you're
and
going
you know what
to
you can say to him or her? Say, I'm sorry because you and me and mom and my dad can give you just this skin and color. That's it.
And we cannot change it.
We cannot change it.
That's it. You take it or not.
Irrevocable.
Yeah,
like your
life,
LC, like your
destiny,
LCs, right?
Yeah, has been determined before you were born.
Irrevocably wrong, right?
And that's why, as a parent, and we did a lot of things in our community, especially in our local Chinese school. And we had all those flyers to raise awareness of this bill and tell all the parents that what we should do to voice opinion and to protect our kids.
Oh yeah, it does say Skin Color Act, right?
And this one is just the recent flyer we made, and to invite everybody who share our opinion to meet the assembly member at Chao on Friday. And we're
Not
going to
only
meet him and
him,
tell him.
not only him, you can call any of the assembly member that's supposed to represent you, quote unquote, right? So let them know how you can represent me, right? By voting no, right? So, okay, what's your overall impression about the bill, please, Mr.
Well, I think my friend said it very well. This situation reminds me of a song, a Chinese song written by a very famous Chinese songwriter and singer, Luo Dayu. The lyrics of the song is like this: the children of Asian weeping in the wind. No one wants to play with you in a fair game. All your favorite toys are being taken away. But my dear baby, there's nothing I can say. Why I think this is a perfect illustration of this situation? Because we are not in a fair game, right? Didn't those senators who voted for this bill know what this really means to Asian Americans? Of course they know. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure this out.
Of course.
Right? And do they care about fairness of this bill?
Yeah.
I don't think they do. There's one thing I do think they care, is the vote. In this case, we are the minority. They are the majority. They think they have more votes. And to make the case even worse, 3 senators who are supposed to be representing us voted for the bill. And I don't want to name the names here, but we know who they are. We know, and we will not forget.
That's okay. Well, name is known everywhere. It's Leland E. It's Ted Lieu. It's Carol Liu.
Right.
Liu. Yes, they're well known. It's the public politics. There's no secrecy.
And look at their Facebook. Some of them even delete most of the negative comments. I don't know if she thinks there's nothing wrong. Why he wants to delete all of those negative comments? That's kind of weird to me too.
And also, they even deny that
They
there
deny
is
that,
an impact to Asian
Before the
Americans.
deletion,
They
they
deny
denied
that
it.
fact.
They argue. Yeah, they fight
Yes,
against
Kevin
all
said
their
it.
race.
It's
Yeah.
not a rocket science to
Exactly.
understand the impact.
that's-
It's so straightforward.
If they want to delete, I would give them a better suggestion. Just close their Facebook account. That's
Exactly.
even better way to do it.
Or change their skin color,
Exactly,
right?
that's right.
They should, yeah.
But let's argue. Let's argue, right? Let's argue a little bit. They say, somebody say, this bill does not present any discrimination. Okay, how come? I mean, how can that be true?
Okay, let me give you some numbers, and you're going to know that. For Asian America, from the demographic point of view, we represent 15% of the total population in California. If you look at the UC system and the admission ratio rate for Asian America is about 36%. And that's exactly the number behind
And by the way, in some
amendment.
schools, the number goes to as high as 41.
Exactly. But there is nothing wrong about those diligent, working hard Asian students. And I will just give you a simple example for myself. I was, at that time, a PhD student in computer science department at the Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. And a lot of people say I'm lucky. I don't think so. I think maybe being lucky is just one single simple factor. I'm working so hard. I want to ask every single one, how many people, and they know what Pittsburgh looks like at 2:00 a.m. in the morning. And that's exactly the time I just left my lab. And I call the police, or sometime I just get into my 1992 Volkswagen Jetta with no air conditioning and with no heat and driving below 32 Fahrenheit. And that's the time I went back home. And again, 4 hours later, only 6:30 a.m. and I got up again. And not so many people, they enjoy the sunrise in Pittsburgh. I did.
That's exactly how the number 36 and the 41 are made.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Right.
the differential. That's the differential.
It's not your skin, right? It's not skin major.
It's not because my
Not your
color
skin
skin.
major.
Exactly.
Not
It's
your
because
skin,
diligence.
right?
Exactly.
And your story. You made it the same way or by sleeping all night long?
Gosh, I worked all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your story, and my story. I started to live with about one hamburger a day. I cut in the middle like this.
Yeah.
One for lunch, one for dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
We went
That's
through
all I
the hard
have.
times.
The problem is,
Yeah.
the value we keep
It's not my
teaching-
skin.
Exactly. The value keep
I work
teaching-
hard.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
it, right?
Yep. The value we keep teaching our kids that, you do your best, be a decent, honest person. The hard work will pay off one day. But if this bill passed, what my kid will say? What can I say to my kid? Right?
Oh yeah, of course. You waste your time.
Exactly.
You waste your time.
Exactly. Working hard is not good enough. Being outstanding student is not good enough.
Yeah.
All that matters is that you need to have the right skin color.
Exactly.
So besides racial discrimination, I really don't know another way to call this bill.
There's another point. By logic, I would say, I try to be doctor. I try to play doctors, okay?
Yeah.
With that stethoscope, I try to diagnose what's wrong with those guys, right? The thing could be wrong. The only thing could be wrong is that they do not know education at all. Let alone from the bottom of the heart, from the bottom of their mind, there's this little devil called discrimination, keep pumping up all the time, right? Now, the fact I say they do not know education at all is that anything below high school level is called popular education.
Exactly, we call K-12.
All right?
Yes.
And anything above is elite,
Higher, yeah.
Exactly.
right?
Especially in those UC systems, those are very selective schools.
All
Very
right,
prestigious
all
schools
right.
with high academic
Yeah, and the
competitiveness.
average schools too, right? So let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we point out to those guys, those people, those lovely people who we happen to call representative of us, how they confuse themselves by the cutting line of education. Let's take a short moment out. Hello, my dear friends, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear fellow Californians, welcome back to the show. Fortunately, we are Californians. Unfortunately, we are the Californians caught in the disaster of this very, very stupid bill called SCA5. Some interpretation calls it Skin Color Act number 5. Now, in the discussion joining me are my 4 good friends coming from afar, from Thousand Oaks, which takes about 1 hour and a half to get here, and the only one from Arcadia takes about 30 minutes, right? So it's no easy job to do a morning show like this, but we call it worthwhile, worth our time, worth our while. And to my audiences, I owe you appreciation, a huge one, and I owe each of you appreciation for joining me in the fight. I call it a fight, right? Please. I'm not saying that I'm a leader of the fight. I'm saying that I am the one on this position. I can use the platform. Let people voice out. Let our voices be heard. We're going to make some copies of the shows and send to those offices who we think fail to represent us.
Right, let's stand up.
Or
Let's
to
vote.
those who we think, we believe will represent us, right? Is that a route to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Now,
Definitely.
back to the previous point, right? Talking about the education by nature below high school and above high school. So what's your take? I need everybody's take, please.
Actually, I think that's exactly my opinion. Try to solve the problem, and eventually I think that's the motivation behind SCA5. I understand every single one living in this country should deserve an equal opportunity of education. Nothing wrong about it, and everyone in this room, I believe, all of us support that.
All right.
But the way to achieve the goal is totally different. I don't think, just like you said before, push some people down and try to show now I'm a little bit taller than other people is a right way of doing that. Rather than that, if we do not think about only just the UC system, do not think about the elite education system, we think about what is the root what is the cause of this problem. And we should trace all the way back to our fundamental education, to our K-12. If any of the senator, any of the politician, they want to do something to help the people in the poor, what they should do? And they should go back to those kids' poor childhood and look at or seek the so-called the equal education opportunity. Not just based on the color scheme to go back to the elite UC system to discriminate.
Sure. Yeah, so far on that. And what's your take about the education line cut at the high school level? What's the difference between the two?
Well, what's the difference between high school education and then elite education? I think the main difference is, determines what kind of job you're going to get and what kind of future you're going to get. I mean, we all know the entrance level for any, like basically, for example, for BFA, we do have high school graduate, but at the same time, 4 of us here, or actually 3 of us here who works in Bank of America, we have at least master degrees. And then, or dual master degrees, and then Mr. Gu has PhD degrees, maybe you have PhD, But we spend years of study, education, efforts in learning things, and then which benefit us in our career pursuit. And then we're able to, we try our best. Nowadays, we achieved certain level of achievement in our career path, and then that was given by the education, the elite education we get. And a high school graduate cannot achieve this much. I'm not saying not all the high school education cannot do that. There are always smart drop-offs. So you can talk about Bill Gates, but not everyone is Bill Gates, right? Education gives an average person a chance to grow in their life, to make a good living.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Because in terms of a popular education, you're talking about everybody gets a piece of pie, right? And then to a certain point, when you reach the elite education though, you are entering an arena. You're entering a competition. It's the academic scores, academic performance that counts, right? What's your take on that?
Yeah, actually, I even want to go even a step further. So actually, elite education to me is not just a university level, because actually there is plenty of data shows that at least based on the data released for 2010, among all the public universities in California, actually the student body does reflect the population. So that means that Asian accounts for about like 13 to 14% of all the universities in California. Of course, that includes the community university, Cal State University, and the University of California. So those only, to me, the two most selective schools like UC Berkeley and UCLA, those are the elite schools. And for those schools, they should maintain their academic competitiveness. And by doing that, what they have to do, they have to enroll most talented kids among all the races. You should not just lower your bar, to get those students are not qualified to get in, and you enroll them. And actually, there is a data shows that if you get them in, because I don't know if all the audience is familiar about Proposition 209. That proposition is the opposite of this act.
Of course. They say the SCA5 tries to overturn 209.
Right.
209 was the one once fixed the Californian problem.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
They want to go back to the previous days, the dark days prior to 209. What's your take on the cut thing? So to me, even though the student body in certain schools does not reflect the population being 13 or 15%, they are higher though. But still, it's a fact. Am I right?
It is a fact.
We were earlier talking about it. They are human.
Yep.
As long as they are human, we're okay.
Yep. To me, education K-12 is for everybody, right? Everybody has the right to get education. The higher education, college, universities, those are really for more competitive students.
Yeah.
We have to set a bar because, think about the budget constraint California is facing right now. The pie is this big, right? And I don't think the pie will grow bigger anytime soon. So especially for those elite universities, UCLA, UC Berkeley, right? You can't think about, the enrollment is for everybody.
Every classroom has a certain size.
Exactly.
It holds this much, right? Holds A or B or C or whoever.
Right.
You try to lower the standard to let somebody in, somebody has to go out.
Right.
The other way,
Exactly.
right?
If my kids come back home with their head hanging low and telling me, Daddy, I cannot compete with my classmates, advice I would give them is always do your best. If you cannot be an A student, if you cannot go to UCLA, UC Berkeley, there are plenty of opportunities out there for B students and C students.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah,
You
absolutely.
can now go to UC, you can go to Cal State, you can go to community colleges.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people can be equally successful even without a college degree.
It is so clear, as a representative, you should make it clear to your constituents, their understanding about the popular education is the education that has a target of making everybody, quote unquote, educated, basically. And then above that are the arena. You get in to compete yourself against your competitors to make sure that you stand out as a, outstanding person. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. There is no guarantee.
Exactly.
I think
Right.
like just to follow Kai Jun's point of view, and to me, I think SCA5 proposed by Mr. Ed Hernandez, and that is a no creative
Hey,
field
Dr.
at all.
Hernandez, let me correct you. Dr. Hernandez, right?
Oh my God,
Who
that's cool.
was enrolled at the moment not by having SA5 to lower the standard. He was an elite himself.
Exactly, and to me, I think there are two ways to
Am I
solve
right?
the problem, right? People talk about, Mr. Ding talk about redistribute the cake if the cake size is still the same. But to me, if Dr. Hernandez want to be creative or want to represent his degree, doctor, he should be more creative to think about what is the way to make the size of the cake bigger. And I think that would be an even better way to solve the problem. Unfortunately, he's not on the right path.
Well, actually, another thing I want to say, we keep talking about the size of the cake. I mean, the size of a cake is not the same all the time. It has been increasing all the time because the population has been increasing.
Yeah,
So we have to think about that.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then we cannot just say, okay, because I want a bigger piece, so I have to take yours. Just correspond to his point. We have to keep thinking about enlarge the size of the cake rather than taking other people's cake, especially other people devote so much to make their cake taste better. You cannot just say, okay, I want a sweeter piece because I have different skin color than you, or because I have more people in my group. And we just want more. That's called robbery. It's
And
not-
then, on the other hand, because somebody wants the votes,
right.
all right? And then let's do a little trade, okay? Come on here. So I call those not our representatives. They better be some buffoons, political buffoons, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Because your benefit not supposed to be on the trading board. Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll find exactly the motivation behind the bill. Like I said, inside the bill, outside the bill, and behind the bill, right? So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the show, especially when you happen to be, like I said, somebody's parents. You better be concerned about this bill. This bill really puts you yourself, your kids at stake. Now, we're talking about the Skin Color Act bill, right, called SCA5, created by Dr. Hernandez, the senator of California, supported by many. Well, unfortunately, this bill is confronted with lots of rebounds. The rebounds including this conversation, this discussion today, plus many more, plus many on the media. So now, joining me today are my good friends. Let me introduce again Mr. Gu and PhD.
From Carnegie Mellon in computer science.
Okay, yeah, you continue, please.
Okay, yeah, I got my PhD in computer science from Carnegie Mellon University, and after that, I have been working in financial industry for many years.
And he's the creator of Turbo Finance, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And you again, please?
My name's Xie. I work in Bank of America. And then actually just add to that, and then we have Silicon Valley in California, right? And this is a center of creation, center of a value of creation.
All right.
And then a lot of those people are Asian, right? They got education, higher education, elite education, and then they create huge value to this
All right.
society.
I call it a group of elites.
Right.
And you, I want to introduce one more time, please.
Yeah, my name's Ling Mei, and I work in Bank of America too. And I now I work as a risk manager, but it's more like we cannot take the risk to have this bill pass and to risk the future of our children.
Good. And Mr. Ding, please.
Yep. My name is Kevin Ding. I also work for Bank of America as VP of Consumer Product Strategy. And I'm also a proud father of 3 lovely children. And as I said at the beginning of the show, I care deeply about their future, their education. And I think that's why we're all here today.
All right, you feel your benefit at stake. All right, so I really want to make a point together with my friends that we want to vote a no to the Skin Color Act number 5, SCA. If you cannot recognize the Skin Color Act number 5, there's a short form for you called SCA5. Yeah, either way, you can't misplace it. The reason we go so strongly oppose it is because that is totally, according to him, to Dr. Gu, is nonsense.
It's nonsense at all.
It's nonsense at all. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all, right? Now, we need to go, like I said, behind the bill, see the motivation. What's your take about the motivation of the bill, of the first of the creation, then the supporting?
You know, my take on this, the reason Dr. Hernandez introduced this bill again, this is the 3rd time, right? He introduced this bill. It's really driven by...
He's unrelenting. Yeah.
Because he has a big population behind him, because the demographic changes in the state of California. Right? Before, Latino Americans are minorities, but if you look at the statistics, they are becoming majority of the population.
They are already the #1 largest ethnic group in California,
Exactly.
just past white.
Are you saying he does it for a trade? For a trade for the vote?
Yes.
Besides that, I don't have any other clue why he would introduce this bill.
You're just assuming that way, right?
Yeah.
And I try to figure out some other reason rather than the trade, though, because trade is such a dirty word. Am I right? So I try to avoid using the dirty words.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I think Dr. Hernandez was on a talk show with Mr. Elder, and Mr. Elder grilled him on the talk show, basically asked him specifically, why would you introduce this bill? And he could not come up with a legitimate reason. All he said is, let's see the votes.
Yes.
Let's see the votes.
Let's see the vote on what?
On the
not-
bill.
Yeah.
And
Let's
not
see
in
the
that
vote.
show. A lot
Let's
of
see the
shows
vote
say
that
that.
I get.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could be that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should use an attributive clause grammatically to say it. Let's see the vote that I get.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, now. So can you find any word? Because like I said, as a kind man, I always want to play low key. I try to use those dirty words such as trade. So can you create some better words instead of a trade?
I try to. I want to. I really think we should be fair. But the only other word I can think of is ignorant. Because he doesn't know about education at all.
No, ignorance doesn't apply, because he's one of the elite. He's the best eye doctor.
He's doctor.
Yeah.
But as far as
He's
I
the
know,
doctor,
he
doctor.
said
He's
he
the
got
doctor,
it because
doctor.
he benefited from affirmative action. So I don't know whether he's I don't
doesn't know,
because
right.
there's the data. Obviously, I got the data showing that before, as we talk about before Proposition 209, there is a data showing that before Proposition 209 and after, before that, African and Hispanic students, they enrollment in UCLA, it was actually after Proposition 209, it dropped like 50% and 25% respectively. But a very interesting fact is that the graduation graduation rate increased dramatically. Then that lead to the same number of students graduated from UCLA after Proposition 209.
That's a push.
So what does that mean? That means actually after Proposition 209, although you enroll fewer Hispanic and Black students, but you still keep those elite and the most qualified students
of course.
And what you reject are those students who are not qualified to
That
get in
means
the
whoever
first place.
gets in are the elite already.
Exactly.
Right?
I want
And they keep on doing a good job, they get
Exactly.
graduated.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want to
Actually-
add a little bit following Lin Mei's opinion, because look at the numbers before Proper 209, and can you imagine the drop-off ratio for Hispanics and Blacks are at least twice high compared to Asian Americans and whites. And if you only look at law school graduates, for Hispanics and for African Americans, after the graduation and they try to pass the bar exam, and the fail ratio is 4 times higher compared to the Asian Americans and the whites. But after the Proper 209 passed, and this ratio dramatically reduced. And that explained very well.
That means 209 really works.
Exactly.
209 makes it clear at the enrollment level you have to be excellent.
Yes.
And then when you are excellent, of course, you keep on your excellency, right?
Yes.
So now, still my same question. I need a word better than trade, please.
Okay.
I'm persistent.
Well, I don't want to.
I'm unrelenting too. Yeah. So any word.
I'm trying to find a good word, and actually,
I know you're good at words.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I would say he's trying to benefit his people, right? And then just surface, I mean, from surface, it looks like so. And then he's doing a good deeds for his people. And then he's trying to increase the education level for Hispanic people and then for minorities, right? But he forgets how is more important than his only intention. And then in order to achieve that, and then he tries to steal from others, and rather than just create it himself.
All right, okay.
And
Another
then-
word, we can probably replace trade with the word brother. The same thing anyway, right?
And then
Okay.
another thing actually surprised me to, I mean, elaborate on this thing is that he's doing something for his race, but for those 3 senators of our race,
All right, all
what
right.
did they do? I
You're
mean,
trying to hit the nail on the head.
We want to ask them, you
Yeah.
look like us, but you vote against us. Shame on
Okay,
you.
okay. Let's step up. Let's step down a little bit. Okay, let's step down a little bit, just to play amicably, right? If Senator Hernandez are excusable for having to represent his ethnic background, which is not okay by American politics, judging by American politics. If you are a representative, you must represent everybody, not your own color, your own skin. Exactly. Let's assume that we can step down a little bit, say, okay, he's excusable because he at least wants to do something for his own people, right? Like she says, right? So what do our 3 followers, those lovely named Ted Lieu, Leland E., Carol Lieu, what are their motivations? Can you find any, please?
I will give the word ear-formed. And I think probably that is already a very polite word to describe what they did before.
Ear-formed?
Ear-formed, which means it's like malfunction.
Well,
'cause
no, that's not.
to me-
That's not. That couldn't be. That couldn't be.
To me,
Couldn't
I
be.
think the 3 of them are very smart.
Of
and,
course.
And they totally understand what is the potential harm if the amendment passed are going to hurt the Asian American community. And do they care? I don't think so. But what do they care? They care a lot.
well,
Sure,
actually
sure,
talking
yeah.
about that, I mean, if we can check the demographic of one of the senators, I think her name is Carol Liu. You can find out in her district, the Hispanic population is more than 50%.
All right, now, how about Leland E.?
He's
He doesn't leave. He doesn't represent a Hispanic area or district.
yeah,
How about Ted Lieu?
yeah.
Right?
And
Why
then-
would they do that? You have any
Here's my take,
motivation that you
right?
can? Well, we're taking a wild guess, okay?
Yeah, I'm
so,
taking a wild
just
guess.
to entertain our audiences.
Father Shaw, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I think we Asian Americans tend to be humble. We're very humble people. We don't usually get into other people's ways. And we call that decency. And this issue is really a wake-up call to everybody, especially to myself. You know, before I thought, well, politics dirty, I don't want to be part of it. Or politics so far away from my daily life. Why would I care about that? But now we open the door, all of a sudden we find out politics is right at your doorstep.
Yeah.
It's trying to take away your rights,
Yes,
your
exactly.
children's rights for equal opportunity and education. So I think those senators voted for the bill because they thought, well, probably my constituents don't really care about that. They even didn't understand that.
Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Senator Liu's point. He said, this bill has been passed twice. Basically, he voted twice before, yes, on this bill already. And he said, nobody says anything before. Now, how come you guys are not happy about it? Okay,
Right.
He's been consistent in his view on this issue. And then
Not only one decision.
not
right?
one decision.
Yeah, not
so
one
he's
decision.
very consistent. And then another thing, actually, there's there's some numbers we want to know. That I mean, for the other senator, his term, next year's term for state senator is coming up. In that district, his Hispanic population is over 31%, majority again.
Again, you're talking about trade. Come on. Then get me away from the dirty word. But fact keeps coming back, right? Keep coming back. But I still want to give this issue merit, a big merit. The big merit, the big credit goes to the fact that it is a wake-up call
Definitely.
for you, for
everybody.
you,
For
for you,
everybody.
for you,
America.
right?
Exactly.
Now we have to act.
Exactly.
Act now, now act. Act now, now act.
Right. I think this
Before
is
it's too
definitely
late.
a turn point for Asian American, especially for Chinese. We have been educated in Confucianism for a really long time.
Sure.
And this time, and every single us should wake up and think about a totally different way to heavily involved in politics. And we want to make our voice out for those people who hurt their own ethnic group and also not politically correct, and we should let them totally, permanently out of the political scope. Only those
just
people
wipe them
represent
out.
us.
Wipe them out. Yeah.
Only the good people.
And to wipe them out is so easy. All you do is just drop a vote.
Votes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so easy. You don't have to fight a fight. You
Exactly.
just drop your vote, right?
Yeah.
So now, let's please be kind. Let's please be kind. Thank you, Senator Leland E. Thank you, Senator Ted Lieu. Thank you, Senator Carol Liu. Thank you, Senator Hernandez. For ringing up the wake-up call, and we know what to do now. If you guys agree with me, let's put our hands on top of mine to make a commitment. We want to act now.
Yes.
We do, yes.
We want to act now.
Okay, see
We
you
want
next
to
time.
vote no.
Very good. Let's say no.
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 Say no to SCA5.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, see you next time.
Thank you.